Joe.
Black Killa.
With blood, watch our IT, taking it back, way back. And I ain't talking about just rap, videos, interviews, real talk, Chicago news, ill state, trendsetter, Teflon up to the core. You can tell what we about. We step your foot up in our house, and once you done watching this, go line and check Chicago Cookout. We on, yeah, we on. 'Cause ain't no such thing as halfway shows. We on, yeah, we on. So tuned in to get tuned out. You know what to do now. We on, yeah, we on. We on, yeah, we on. We on, we on.
Joe.
Black Killa.
I had the benefit of working for a lot of independents. One of them being Seawall. That's where Twister, Do or Die, Tracks, DTS, back in the DTS days. A lot of them came from. And my brother, Big Fug, we ain't wait. We ain't wait on none of these labels or none of that. Like we got out here and man, like we was going to Peoria, we was going to Iowa, we was going to all these different markets. Like we was getting shows in all these different markets. A lot of niggas now ain't even getting shows in these. Man, Twister wasn't even backed by no major and was getting shows in Limo because of our network. You got a network, man. You gotta get out here and do it yourself. You gotta learn these other promoters in different markets. Reach these other fan bases, man. Like you gotta fuck with these other promoters, man. So even if they don't know you in a different market, I had a artist here. I ain't gonna mention his name, whatever. I was getting him paid shows, but because of my network. Like he was doing college shows because I knew a promoter that used to do college shows, still does. Shout out Gus, Trust and Gus, my dude. He was doing college shows and he was paying the talent. So I got the artist I was working with paid shows and he didn't even have a single on the radio. You gotta get your network together. You gotta try, you have to. It is mandatory. I don't care what level of artist that you are. If you got a song on the radio, if you don't, it is mandatory that you get out of Chicago. It is mandatory that you go network in Peoria, network in Rockford, network in Iowa, network in Wisconsin, network in Nebraska, at least cover the Midwest. Man, if you selling CDs, man, fuck them clothes. Save you some money, go buy you a rental car and go hit these clubs. Man, I remember I used to take, that's why I used to love driving. Like when the promoters used to send for me, I'd be like, man, I need a car. Because guess what? Instead of getting sleepy and I'll pull over, I would listen to the radio. I used to go to Miami a lot. So I listen to the radio. I hear shit in Alabama, shit like that. Like I'll be traveling through these states, coming from different markets, and I'll be hearing this club going on. Oh yeah, it's getting real crunk. We finna go to such club. And I'm like, oh man, shit, hold on, let me ask some dress, find out what this club is. And I go in there, talk to the DJ, network, holler at them, like, man, can I see you? Oh yeah, man, and man, you'll be surprised. A lot of people can't get headway here in Chicago for whatever reasons. A lot of people can't get records played here or whatever, because so many people want this market, national artists as well as independent. So why don't you go to Alabama or Kansas? These different markets. Man, a lot of markets, like, they open to outsiders. To be perfectly honest, I get love every time I go to somebody else's market because you're something different. When I moved to Atlanta, I ain't even moved up, man, I had quit the music business. And I moved to Atlanta. Man, I had so many offers to work in so many people's studios and all that. I was something different. And it's a billion Chicagoans up there in Atlanta. But I was still something different, the way I talk, act, my views upon the music business. Like, they wanted to do, and I was a baker. I got a regular job. I was a regular Joe Smoke. I had people coming there, knew who I was. Somebody would tell somebody, like, man, why don't you come to the studio? We finna record the Outkast, or we finna go in the studio with Luda and all. I'm like, yeah, I'm done with that, bro. Like, I don't, like, I'm sitting there flipping donuts and shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some shit, like, and everybody like, yo, why don't you? I'm like, yo, I'm done with that. But you will be surprised how many people willing to network with you. I had so many people complaining, all these DJs ain't playing my shit, my this and this and this. like, man, insanity, the definition of insanity is repeating something without getting, without getting the same results. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna keep beating your head against that wall. Like, the DJs ain't playing my shit. All right, well, move around. Get outside this market. Find a DJ that will play your shit. Stop going to all these top DJs, begging them to play a record. If they won't, don't be hating on the internet. Niggas, man, fuck this person, fuck DJ such and such, man, fuck, he ain't playing my record. No, man, move around. Find somebody, that's like a woman, you know what I'm saying? Like, a man, they might be in a relationship with a person don't appreciate them. They leave and go find somebody that will appreciate them. Same thing you gotta do in this music business. You gotta find somebody that appreciates you, man. I just seen recently TJ Chapman. He used to be a part of a large DJ coalition, TJ's DJs. He's B.O.B. and K-Camp's manager. I just remember seeing him post something on Instagram talking about everybody in his camp sacrificed to the point where he lost his house, his car, everybody in his camp lost they houses, his business partner lost the daycare that he had. But now look at B.O.B. Look at the touring and the money they get off him. Look at K-Camp. Look at his network. Look at his network that created his net worth. And they was willing to sacrifice everything.
I think this whatever direction you want to go. You know what I'm saying? I think it's definitely as far as like if you want to have total like creativity, you know what I'm saying, and all of that marketing, all of that shit, you know, definitely you might want to go the independent route. But if you want to get, you know, like them labels, they be having them machines behind them, you know what I'm saying? Like they push, they go push you, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if you want to be that and deal with all the other politics that come behind that, then you know you can deal with that and have them tell you what songs to put out and do that and do this. You know, you can do that and you'll be known on all the billboards and all that shit. But if you want to still get money, do shows, do all of this stuff, I think independent is definitely the way to go.
And I say independent all the way. Like, I don't want to sign with nobody. It's a legacy of people that signed with labels that died broke. You know what I'm saying? All the contracts and getting into all this drama and, you know what I'm saying? They got to go through all that. I mean, I'd rather stay independent because, you know what I'm saying? That's just the way, like, it's more that you feel more, it's like the more of the fruits of your labor. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, like, yeah, you gotta work harder, but you working for yourself, you know what I'm saying? And if you ain't willing to work for yourself, then why are you doing it?
It's better for a person to read. When I say it's better for a person to read, all you got to do is go back and look at a couple of documentaries. Look at New Edition's documentary. Look at TLC. Look at some of the first rappers that got in the game that said that they never made any money off of their projects. And all you have to do is read. What I found is that in America, and I'm probably pretty sure that, did you ever watch the movie Django?
Oh yeah.
Okay, Django is probably one of the greatest movies I've ever watched. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because it taught me something so significant. Everybody else was talking about how the dude killed the white people and beat the dude. But I got from that movie a very valuable lesson. And the dude, what's his name? King Schultz. King Schultz was brilliant in that movie. He should have got the Oscar. Basically, he said to read, to figure out what the laws were and live within the guidelines, the boundaries of the law, and you could get away with anything you wanted to get away with. In other words, if I saw you fail at something, I'd probably ask you, okay, what exactly did you do? And then I'd look at it and I go look at what the rules for what you're trying to do are and what the proper procedures are, and try those and see if you missed any of those steps. And if you did all of those things, I'd try to see where it went wrong. Nobody wants to go through the procedures. Nobody will. I got cats right now that, I'm not gonna mention names, that I've been helping get solid with their ASCAP and their copyrights. Because I'm like, brothers, you've been in this game long enough where you should know this, but the fact that you weren't taught, I can't charge that to you. So, and that's the thing, nobody's being taught properly. Nobody wants the education, nobody wants to do the work. The brothers that I see that are doing the work, and I got the most respect for, I think they must make the best MCs, the Muslim brothers. The brothers out the nation, I'm talking about on point. And I'm like, man, I love hearing them rhyme because I never hear profanity. And that takes me back to hip hop. It makes me love what I do again. And I'm like, man, if you could have all the brothers, if you could have every brother in the United States march like a brother from the Nation of Islam and walk around with the same level of respect and treat women like they supposed to be treated, people be scared of us. People be scared of us again. And at one point we was getting there and they saw that. What was the last powerful record? Public Enemy.
91 or something?
No, that particular Elvis was a hero the most, but he never meant shit to me. He's a straight out racist, the sucker was simple. Fight the Power. After Fight the Power, there was a shift in hip hop. It was a shift in hip hop. Somebody said we got to put this to a stop. And then back then, if you went gold, you was doing something major. All of a sudden, the introduction of so-called gangster music and the derogatory, you know, speech against women, the bitches, the hoes, the want to be a thug, the drug dealers, the kingpins, and all of a sudden music is going platinum, multi-platinum. And with that, you saw the brothers, the education and everything do a downward spiral, and it was like a meteor hitting the earth. It was like everybody just fell in, and it became a crabs in a barrel thing.
Okay. Is it beneficial to be independent or get signed to a major label? This ties into our last question. The word independent has a very, very strong meaning. It have a very strong meaning. To answer your question directly, then I'll go into it. Me, myself, I believe in being an independent. You have to be a strong independent one way or another. Whether you go come out independent or get your weight up to have leverage to sit down with any of these big companies. Now these big companies, they operate cookie cutter style. You're not gonna see, these companies are no different than the McDonald's corporation. You're not gonna see a green McDonald's and a yellow McDonald's. They all gonna have their little crimson red with those yellow arches. When you come in, you have to fit their profile and their format. That automatically conflicts an artist. Look at the Lupes of the world. Look at all of these people who always say they want me to deliver an album that I don't have inside of me, or they want me to speak about something or approach something that I don't have inside of me. Look at the hood legend note that's going around all over the internet about the secret meeting. You feel me? That a lot of people talk about these days. The point I'm trying to get to is this. To be an independent is to truly be independent. And I can tell you this, let's do some math. You be careful who you get your money from. Be careful who put you on. That's another way of saying, be careful who hand you let get stuck up your ass. Who put you on the stage? Why did they put you there? It's just like politics, bro. If somebody puts you on, they're gonna be looking for some type of interest. If they give you a voice, they're gonna want something to be said. If you give yourself your own voice amongst your own environment, and it's truly real, it'll work to your advantage, and this is how. You get signed to a major label, you sell 1 million records, which is highly unlikely today, you'll be balling off your $300,000. You do this yourself and put out a record and sell 30,000 copies, a fraction. You have the same $300,000 to split up amongst you, your team, distributors, and XYZ. So to answer your question, why bake a cake in my house and go just give it to somebody when I can sell all the slices for my damn self? It's a do for self type of thing. Because after all, if you get hot enough where you're on a radar, of a major corporation, think, you're not on their radar because you're not hot. You're on their radar because you're hot. Use your own hotness. Use your own hotness to your benefit. Real talk.
Joe. Black Killa. transmission.
Yeah, that's your hood, you throw it up. 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 Where you from? North side. Where you from? East side. Where you from? South side. Where you from? West side. That's your hood, you throw it up. 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 Where you from? North side. Where you from? East side. Where you from? South side. Where you from? West side. Where you from? You throw it up. Where you from? You throw it up. I'm smoking on these chronic blunts. I think I'm about to throw it up. Just smoke, just blow, overdose the dust. Got guns like it is. Guns are rusting. God, we trust. My gun straight bust. Prove that nigga, he's a punk. Never been a lame. Youth in the game. If you know pleasure, you gotta know pain. Yeah, I make it snow. Yeah, I make it rain. Game is a bitch, so I gotta make it came. Whistle man come, finger in the thumb. She look like a star, but she act like a bum. That's the hood that I come from. That's the hood that I come from. Yeah, it's cold, I make it flurry. Yeah, I'll be there in a hurry. Don't you never ever worry. I rob if they actin' scurry. Bitch know that I'm from the shot. Like a bird, my swag just fly. I know you love when I eat your pie. That's why I make you eat my fries. Love is crazy, so it's college. Keep that paper in your wallets. Got that AK in my trunk and bump like I locked up in the closet. I hate to be mean, it's not the Jesus way, but that's how it is, you wanna make it today. That's your hood, you throw it up. 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 Where you from? North side. Where you from? East side. Where you from? South side. Where you from? West side. That's your hood, you throw it up. 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 Where you from? North side. Where you from? East side. Where you from? South side. Where you from? West side. Cooking up the game in the kitchen. The messages get lost, but I think it's stripping. Niggas don't know nothing but 4 parts to a chicken. Would you take the easy way out? Well, I ain't tripping. All I know is that it's motherfucking time to get it. Yeah, it's paper boy, still got the keys to the city. Monday is the red thing, Wednesday is the blue thing, Friday is the black thing, Sunday, cocaine. Now you know it's bang gang. We get high like chain gang. Pow pow, bang bang. Take over, overtake, Hall of Fame. Ballin' hard like D-Rose. And the story unfolds. The game is dead but we rose. Hoes I got a busload. Love, life, royalty, death before dishonor. I had to make a move, please forgive me my father. I gotta give a shout out to my baby mama. One day we'll be like Michelle and Barack Obama. That's your hood, you throw it up. 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 Where you from? North side. Where you from? East side. Where you from? South side. Where you from? West side. That's your hood, you throw it up. 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 Where you from? North side. Where you from? East side. Where you from? South side. Where you from? West side.
Joe. Black Killa. Joe. Black Killa.
Dobson Mars. I just had to get this off my chest. Cause niggas got to feel how I feel.
I do independent. I see this all the time. The reason I say I'll do independent because if you hype yourself up and boost yourself up as much as you can, now you on demand for the biggest money is not with the sales. Because you can run into somebody that if your CD is hot, they're gonna knock your CD off. But they're not gonna knock you off when it comes to you doing the appearance most of your money is in appearances when it comes to doing the raps and all of that. And whatever shows you have to do, whether it's you undercarding for whoever that's out here, that's where your money comes in. The record deals and the mixtapes and all that is just a hype to get you to the next step. But it's got to be likable. You know what I'm saying? You can't think you're going to survive off free beats. You have to pay for them beats, and you got to pay for good beats to put good lyrics on them. So you just can't be out here and just thinking you're going to survive off something free. It's nothing free out here.
The indie thing is the music industry it was close. It was very close to withering away. A few years ago, when you had the indies were the biggest artists in the game, say like Currency and Wiz, and you had just a ton of indie acts come along and selling records and making a living for themselves. And the majors have kind of fought their way back. But I guess to answer your question, is it more profitable for artists to? You just got to ask yourself where the value lies. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things I think about, going the indie route, like a lot of people look up to and admire it, but going the indie route is really running an indie label and being the CEO of a company. And if you don't have the resources, not only resources, but the skill and the manpower to operate a company, maybe it's in your best interest to try to seek out a deal. And we see that all the time, where an artist, they claim to have their indie labels or do their CEO thing, but what comes with that? Not saying it's impossible, but go do some homework. Go look at the staffing of a Def Jam or Columbia or Interscope, and just go look at the staffing and get a glimpse of what it takes to run a record label. And in doing so, figure out, hey, is this something I want to do? Do I even want to go through the headaches of putting together, or do I even have the budget to put together a promo run at each market, then a radio run at each market, and then while shooting videos and while do I even have the funds to pull these things off, let alone staffing and the know-how to. When you decide to go the indie route, you know what I'm saying? And if you do have the drive and the willpower and the budget to do it, I support people in doing that. I suggest it actually, but I only suggest it if you're really prepared to operate like $1 million company operates.
Well, it's always a better look for artists to create and build their own story independently, because when a major comes to the table, you have more leverage and more say-so in the guidance of your career. So I would suggest that an independent artist should get it cracking at least to 60-70% before you invite a major in to take you to 100%. That way you know exactly what's going on and you can pretty much dictate the outcome of what you want as an artist.
Now, do you operate a independent label?
I do. At the time, I was pushing artists, but right now our sole focus is on songwriting and producing, because we've been getting a ton of placements on major artists from like Day 26, Danity Kane, Kevin Gates, who was freshman, XXL freshman class of 2014. So you find it easier to get in by helping someone else that's already in build their brand.
Now, overall, how was it? What are some of the trials and tribulations that you go through as far as being an independent label or independent production company?
Trials and tribulations is basically, I think the toughest one is working with people that have the same intensity and drive that you do. You can't want it more than the artist. You have to deal with everything from artists not doing the necessary things that they need to do. Like, you know, you can, the saying is, I know it's cliche, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. You have to go through a lot of that. And it's very hard on the independent company because you're putting up your dollars, you're spending your money, and they're not understanding that, you know, this is recoupable against them. And if, you know, it's not recouped, then guess what? Everybody loses. So that's the biggest trial and tribulation, just finding the right people that see your vision, that believe in your vision, that work as hard as you, and that will continue to push through when good times happen or bad times, you know, just continuously pushing. So that's the biggest hurdle, just finding them people.
Is it better for an artist to produce and distribute their work as an independent or be signed under a major label?
It's whatever, man, it's whatever float their boat. I feel like that. Like, some people need a label or feel like they do, and then some people could do it indie and maybe just need some distribution. It really all depends on the person or how you view things, your perception of the industry. I don't, you know, to each his own.
Now, would you go for it if a major came at you?
I wouldn't just go for anything. Even if thoughts become, it depends on what somebody proposition is when they come at me. So if the label come at me and it makes sense and mathematically it adds up, and you know, my lawyer give it the stamp and the bars eyes camp give it the logo, then we going. But if not, then it ain't. If it ain't about to push us to more than where we could push ourselves without beating us out, if it's the right paperwork, then yeah, we want that.
Joe. Black Killa.
On a roll in the street, A+ everything.
Right down the street where they killed them. Maurice where they sent them. Stopped them dead on the spot. Couldn't speak to the victim. I could speak on the system, but that's a typical story. I ain't preaching, I miss him. He get the kick it with Corey. Betty look over Kina. Say goodbye to Miss Alice. Butterfuko with me though. Know these streets is a mess. Swear the picture is vivid. Ain't no point of complaining. I ain't tripping, I'm living. Had it all with a jerk. Jagged it off like I'm horny. It could all be worse. That's the truth, but it's corny. Pop a bottle for pop. Pour it out for my niggas. Only swallow Ciroc. These broke niggas is bitter. I ain't going nowhere. I'm in the hood like we Tims. Produced by Beat Beast. Get ready to meet Sims. It's beautiful. Hey, gonna take you a picture. This my grandma's thing. Her baby little sister. This the streets. This the streets. This the streets. This the streets. Said it's beautiful. Hey, it's a brand with no filter. Nigga granddad's spot. And right there with that killer. This the streets. This the streets. This the streets.
We major. Fuck y'all niggas.
Ain't no peace in the killing. At an all-time high. Ain't no heat in my building. Down the street from Obama. I ain't even ecstatic. Wish I was in position. All I do is imagine. They say my money was funny and I was selling my link. I went right back to the store. It's just a felon in me. These niggas jealous of me. Right down the block where they stay. It's like we beefing forever, but see, I'm not finna play. I heard them people was on me right when my grandmama died. Rest in peace, Jetty B. I put my ass on the line. Don't condone it at all. I'm endorsing the streets. Putting food on my table. At least my daughter could eat. And it's beautiful, ain't it? I be damned if you differ. Came a long damn way without no dad in the picture. Look like he on the news. How come he looking happy? Cause DOC in the blue. That Crook County and khaki. Let's go. It's beautiful, hey. Gonna take you a picture. This my grandma's thing. Her baby little sister. This the streets. This the streets. This the streets. This the streets. Said it's beautiful, hey. It's a brand with no filter. Nigga granddad's spot. And right there with that killer. This the streets. This the streets. This the streets. This the streets. EMG Studios. Shout out DJ Honor.
Jakarta, DJ Hustlenomics. Let's go.
Joe.
Black Killa.
Joe.
Black Killa.
Malos eran esos aires, fue hace 25 años y Dios existía sin existir todavía.
That depends. Is it better for an artist to put out their own music as an independent or be signed to a major record label? It all depends on the person. Now, is it better for Chance the Rapper to put out his music independently? Yes, it definitely is. Is it better for me to put out my music independently? Might not be, because at the end of the day, I don't have the same fan base that that brother has. You understand what I'm saying? So it all depends on the person and the situation. You know, if I got to his level without a record deal, would I stay independent? Yes. You know, but sometimes you have to partner up with somebody to get to where you need to be, and sometimes that's a record label.
Now, this is a sidebar. I usually ask this question. I've been asking this to artists in general, and the key thing is, do artists really even? I say that to say that I don't really even think artists really even have a choice. Well, no, let me ask you this: do you think artists actually have a choice though, if they want to stay independent or go?
I think they do have a choice. I think they have a choice because at the end of the day, in today's record business and the climate of the consumer today, they're only giving you a record deal if you've proven you can make some money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, if you've proven you can make some money, then you don't need them. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just like, you know, sometimes people get, what people don't understand is like, I know people who push real hard on the independent scene, right? And then, I mean, it's hard. You know, it's hard to get to the level where you could tour, you know? And once you get there, you start buzzing, you know, you know, sometimes these artists don't know where to go from there, you know? And not only that, is your fans do want to see you elevate. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes they cop out for the record deal, you know, because they're like, oh man, we don't know what else to do, we don't know where else to go from this point, or we don't have the means to go where we want to go from this point, you know. And it's too, or it's just too hard on them, and they like, man, if we got a deal, then some of this pressure and some of this work would be easier. But see, what they don't understand is the record company in 2014, they don't want to do work. They just want to cash in on the benefits of you. They want to put a little money behind you and use their channels and avenues and resources and expect you to do numbers. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of times these artists get into a situation where they could have done, you know, all bad by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Or they could have done good by themselves if they would just stay by themselves. You know, but at the end of the day though, you know, each situation is what you make it. You know, if somebody offer you a record deal, you got less than 10,000 views on YouTube, and you know, you not as popular as a lot of these artists or whatever. If somebody offer you a record deal, it might be worth taking, you know, but you got to know the consequences though. You know, you got to know this is going to be a 360 deal, and you know, you got to know that they're going to have a hand in everything. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but at the end of the day, I keep saying at the end of the day never ends, I guess. But basically, 100% of zero is 100% of zero, and 50% of $3 million is $1.5 million. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying, even 20% of $3 million is $600,000. You know what I'm saying? But 100% of zero is zero.
Well, honestly, I don't know, because to me, I feel like if you want to be independent, it's more work. It's more time. It's your life. If you want to be signed with a label, you're basically paying someone to help you promote you as an artist, to help you be as successful as you can be. And a lot of people from my city, from Chicago, they screaming no labels. And even people that I know from the South and stuff, like Migos, no labels. So it's some people and some artists that just feel no labels is the best. But from my point of view, if you are comfortable with working under somebody and they are true and trying to make you the best artist you can be, I feel like go ahead and try to give it a try. But this industry right now is no labels.
I feel like independently is the route to go right now, you know, and the reason why I say that, obviously for the financial gain, but for the creative control. If you one of those people that, you know, need to control your own release dates and control the sound that you make, and you want to be on top of that, then independent is the way to go. But also, if you're gonna go independent, you have to be brilliant in the business mind. You have to understand the ins and outs of the industry. Your paperwork got to be right. You got to understand PR, marketing, advertising. You got to understand all those different factors. If you're not savvy enough to create your situation or keep your situation afloat, then independent not for you. If you don't have the financial backing to stay afloat independently, then an independent situation is not for you. But the major thing is not a bad look at all. I just feel like at this point in time, with them trying to get with the 360 deals, where they get in on anything that you do, if you go out and create a situation that the label didn't do nothing for, they get a check off of that too as well. I feel like if you're not gonna be one of those superstars, where you're not gonna be a Drake or, you know, a Future or a type of person that's gonna generate hundreds of millions in it, then independent would be the way for you, because that major shit, you know, it's dope, but it's not necessary unless they can change your life. You know, if a major talking about changing our life and creating a financial situation that I can't create independently, okay, well now I'm interested. But just to sign, to say you signed, it's not necessary no more. You can get the 106 in Park, you can get the XXL, you can get to all the big Revolt, you can get to all of the biggest outlets without being signed majorly, if your paperwork business is right and you got the financial backing to do it. So independent over major all day unless it's life changing.
Signed under a major label.
Oh wow. Well, still a lot of people out here that signed to major labels though to get the advance money real fast, and then what they normally do is probably sign a one year P&D deal. Get that advance money and flip that money and say, well, I don't need y'all no more. I start my own label, you know, fanship. But to me, independent has always been a way to go. You know, that way you have total control of how you work your product and put it out here in the street. So it's still a need for major labels because they can get you to those venues you can't get into. But if the majors see an independent doing the same thing they're doing, they're gonna snatch you up. They're gonna come at you. So I think the independent route is a better way.
That depends on your individual story. You know, your roadmap, the steps that you take in. Some folks could benefit from a label behind them. Some folks may benefit from being independent and treating and going, having their fan base and treating their fan base that way and just going directly to their fan base. It all depends on. It all depends on like who you are as an artist and what you need and your backstory and what you need to make that circle complete. Independent versus major. Well, you know, obviously independent pretty much, you know, wins there with the nature of the label. And if you have an independent label, then you'll see why independent is the way to go, because it's like you're a label now, just like that major label is a label. So you see the same issues that the major label has with artists because you're a label yourself. So when you do that, you kind of realize like, oh, it was a good way to go, because it's the same thing. And even major labels started independent. They started as an idea in somebody's basement, in somebody's office. So, you know, that alone right there is like, it's like independent over major, because, you know, if you were to rank them, they're apples and oranges, they're different. It depends on what you need as an artist. But if you were to rank them, yeah, independent over major, because at the end of the day, even the majors were independent at one point.
Wow, well, man, you know, I've definitely been in business for a while. I've seen different aspects and really looked from afar the ins and outs of the music business itself, right? But in terms of marketing and publicity and being in control of your own product, when I talk to people who want to write a book, even years ago, even before really the internet and social media was a part of the marketing opportunities that you have now today, I would always encourage someone to produce their own book, publish their own book, and have control over it. We know, we've seen it from music artists to authors to just anybody who has creativity. Not only do you want to make sure that you are not stifled in your creativity, but you want to control what you have created. Too many times our artists have been bamboozled. So you have a Jay-Z who learned from the mistakes of others before them, who said he's gonna own his own masters. We heard what Ray Charles did. You know, you want to own your stuff. And if you do, I always marveled and respected Master P, who really, for the hip hop industry and for the rap game, he was one of the first in the 90s to say, you know what, we're going to sell out our trunk and we're going to do it our way. Yeah, there were others who did it before him, but they didn't do it to the degree and to the success. You can give props to Too Short for what he did out in Oakland, but Master P really took it to the next level and showed how you can market and own your own product. And when you do it like that, you can get yourself in a position where if you do want to engage a major distribution outlet, you're doing it with more power, with more negotiating tools at your disposal than when you're trying to use them to do everything. So it's always better to control your own product from beginning to end. And with social media, with the internet, it really has wiped away any excuse that somebody would have in the past to say, oh, I can't afford to do it. Oh, I can't. Man, the playing field has been leveled now. The game has changed. And with social media, with the internet, with a mobile device, with these new communication platforms, there's no reason why you can't control your own product and keep it, like they say, 100.